win apparently against the Packers, and so we'll talk about it now in just 1 second after I play my intro, which moved. Of course it did. Well, welcome back to a happy Browns breakdowns. Today, um, talking about the win. I know, pretty crazy, over the Green Bay Packers that occurred that occurred on Sunday. Now, it was definitely not a good game from the Browns in terms of offensive performance. Defensively, we were amazing. Offensive wise, we weren't that good. But it worked out in the end. Game winning field goal, we won. So we take what we can get, right? Beat what were presumptively the Super Bowl favorites at that time. I had them as the best team in the league. So, hey, take what you can get. Maybe it was a great game to watch at the end. Wasn't fun to watch throughout the middle of the game, but it's all right. So let's talk here about the Packers. Well, okay, now the site's loaded. So Jordan Love was average. He was 18 for 25 for 183 yards, one touchdown, and one interception. Not great from him, but I guess you wouldn't call it terrible either. I certainly wouldn't call it amazing. Obviously, that interception basically lost them the game because we got a touchdown and then we got the two field goals to come back and win. But Josh Jacobs, again, a great showing of holding the running game to low yardage, was 16 for 30 for Josh Jacobs. Emmanuel Wilson, 6 for 25, and Jordan Love was 4 for 18. Receiving was okay. Matthew Golden was their leader, 4 for 52. Josh Jacobs was 5 for 44. Tucker Kraft, 3 for 29. Romeo Dobbs was 2 for 25. Uh-oh. My site was messed up. Dontavion Wicks, 2 for 21. And John Fitzpatrick, 2 for 12, and that one touchdown. Defensively, they had 2 sacks from Rashawn Gary, an interception from Xavier McKinney. So, again, it wasn't much about like the big plays like the sacks and interceptions, and was much more about just how well the defense overall was playing that game. And now looking at the Browns stats. Here we go. So Joe Flacco was 21 for 36 for 142 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Bad game, but I mean, he hasn't been good really at all this season, and so I guess I won't complain as much as I probably might in other cases. Quinshawn Judkins, though, had a very good game, and I'm definitely excited about him. He was 18 for 94 and a touchdown. That touchdown coming late in the game after Delpit's interception, which obviously ended up getting us within the game to be able to win. Then receiving, again, not very many yards to be able to be thrown out, so I won't take anything away from them. But it was 5 for 40 for David Njoku. Cedric Tillman was 3 for 26. Harold Fannin wasn't amazing, but again, there wasn't a whole lot of yards to go around. He was 3 for 25. Jerry Jeudy, 1 for 17. There was a lot of wide receivers, or a lot of people who caught the ball this game. Jerry Jeudy, 1 for 17. Isaiah Bond, 2 for 16. Jerome Ford, 4 for 10. Jamari Thrash, 2 for 7. And then defensive-wise, Carson Sweshinger had a sack. He was pretty decent. Grant Delpit had an interception, obviously. Myles Garrett only half a sack, but he still was a good menace on that edge. Malik Collins was 1.5 sacks, half from Aiden Huntington. Alex Wright had a sack, and Mason Graham also had half a sack. The rookie had half a sack. And, of course, if you want to talk about it, Andre Schmidt, that's what I call him. I don't think that's how you say his name, but he had the 55-yard game-winning kick for the Browns to take the win over the Packers. And so, again, it was not a good game throughout the first 3 quarters. and really you could say the first 3.5 quarters if you wanted to. But you got into that point where you had to come back, you had to do it, and you did. And so I'm not gonna complain because you did what you had to, and you got what you needed, and it resulted in a win. And now defensively was amazing. Again, I think we have the best defense in the league. If not, we're second place for sure. The Falcons were number 2, but then they had a huge fall apart uh, against the other guys. So yes, Browns are still number 1 with Browns are number 1 with 204.3 defensive yards per average. And then Falcons are 227.3. So yes, we're still the best defense. And I don't think it's much of an argument on if we have the best defense or not. I think it's pretty obvious that we have the best defense. There are some problems sometimes here and there, and yes, that's normal, but we definitely have the best defense, and I think it's pretty unanimous among at least people I talk to that the Browns have the best defense. And so let's talk here about the team stats really quickly before we head off to power rankings. So it was actually quite even in terms of team rankings, or team stats, I mean. The Browns weren't all that far off of the Packers' offensive output, and neither team really had a good offensive game because of how good the two defenses were, right? Packers are ranked 3-ish, and Browns are ranked number 1. So, I mean, looking at it, it's not that unexpected that the offensive numbers were low. So Packers were 230 total yards, Browns were 221. Again, very close, like I said. Passing yards, the Packers were a little ahead. They were 149. The Browns were only at 125. But rushing yards, we were a bit ahead. We had 96. They had 81. And then 3.9 yards per play for the Browns and 3.8 for the Packers. In terms of first downs, we were ahead by 15-14. And here's a crazy stat. The Packers had 18 third downs, which I think is amazing. And some of the most I've ever seen, to be honest. I haven't seen anyone with 18 third downs. They only converted 10 of them, which is 50%, so, or like 56%. So not amazing, but not terrible. Browns were a lot worse on third down, I mean, though. We were only 4 for 13, which plays into why our offense wasn't doing great. Fourth down, we were 1 for 2. The Packers allowed 5 sacks. We only allowed 2, which was impressive. And the Packers' offensive line was just falling apart during this game. The punts were 5 for the Packers, 6 for the Browns. Penalties were really bad. There were 22 penalties in this game, which for a total of 165 penalty yards. Really bad. I hope the two teams definitely will be talking about fixing that in the future. I can definitely confirm that. So 14 penalties for the Packers for 75 yards and 8 for the Browns for 90 yards. Both teams threw an interception. So again, it was a weird game, not one that I would say was entertaining until about the final 10 minutes of the game, because it just wasn't a great game, to be honest. I mean, if you like defense, then yeah, it was one of the best, because the defensive performances were amazing. But if you like offense, this was not the game for you. If you wanted to see offense, I guess you could watch the Lions-Ravens game. Kept thinking Bills. That was a great offensive game for most of the game. But Browns win, I mean, I'm not going to be complaining about that. So I definitely liked this game. Quinshon Judkins looked really good. The defense obviously looked amazing. Everything about the team just felt good. I don't have really much to complain about. I mean, past the offense, obviously. The offense is its own problem that I don't know how we will address, to be honest. I'm not sure how we're going to address it, what the solution is, but it needs to be addressed because it's obviously a big problem. But yeah, I mean, this was a great game on the defensive side of the ball. I'm really glad Andre managed to get that game-winning field goal to be able to redeem himself from that Cincinnati game, right? I mean, he lost us that game, let's be honest, but great redemption in a 55-yarder. That's not an easy field goal. 55 yards to take the win. So very happy to see him succeeding now. And I mean, looking at it, it wasn't a game where I mean the Browns could be a 3-0 right now. I'm not kidding. If we if we could hit those two field goals, the field goal and extra point in Cincinnati, that's another win. We're 2-1, and we were in it for almost for 3/4 in the Ravens game. That's three. If we manage to overcome that 10-point deficit and win, that's 3-0. And yes, I know. But realistically, and I'm talking realistically, not like all realistically, and then I list off three unrealistic things. Very realistically, this Browns team could be 2-0, or 2-1, I mean, and be in contention for the division title. Now I know we're only 3 weeks in, but be in contention in the future for the title of the division. And I'm not saying we can't bring that back. I mean, who knows, right? We've only played 3 games, and you just beat what a lot of people were calling the Super Bowl favorites at this early point in the season. And who's saying you can't do it again, right? Can you beat the Lions next week, who are coming off this? Wait, it's the Lions, right? Or am I mistaken? I think it's the Lions. Yeah, Sunday, September 28th. Can you beat the Lions, right? Can you beat them? Or because they'll be coming off of a short week as well, playing the Monday night game, so they'll have a less day of rest. And so, yeah, I mean, can you do it again against the Lions team that is one of the best in the NFL as well, right? The Lions offense looks stellar. Can this defense perform well against a stellar offense, right? And I think this will be an interesting game as well, but we'll talk about that on Saturday. But for now, let's do our advertisements. So we will be right back after this break. All right, we are back on Browns Breakdowns. Browns were victorious 13-10 on Sunday. So let's do power rankings here. So the first one I have is PFF. Let's see, they have the Bills at number 1, the Eagles at number 2, and they have the Ravens at 3. Now let's go and check where the Browns are. I have to go pretty low. They have the Browns at 28. So Browns are 28 according to PFF. This is about where they probably should be. I need the offense to do more before I can put them higher. And that makes sense. And so next one is USA Today. They have Cleveland at 26. So I feel like it's a little bit higher than I put them. Personally, I'll give you where I have them in a few moments. But 26 for USA Today. ESPN has them. I guess I can just jump to a team. Cleveland. They have them at 26 as well. Again, that feels a tiny bit high, and I don't really think I think that's a little high for me. Now, I see what they're doing, because I mean I think our defense is just amazing, and so I think this is definitely something that's important. But 26, again, still feels a little high. Next up, NFL.com. They have the Cleveland Browns. Man, I wish they had the jump like ESPN. That's nice. They have the Cleveland Browns at 25. So again, you can tell there is a trend here on where they're putting the Browns, about 28 to 26. So, I mean, that seems to be where they're placed. I think they could be number 1 if we had a good offense. Let me rephrase. They'd be number 1 if we had a good offense. We just don't. So 26 is where they seem to be sitting, mostly a little higher, a little lower. And finally, my favorite one of power rankings, CBS, because they have it in just a nice, beautiful list. It's so nice to use. Also, there's and they have the Browns at 22. So again, very high. Not very high, but quite high, I feel like. So 22 is your spot for the Browns according to CBS. So again, 28, 26, 26, 26, 22 seems to be around 28 to 20 would be where most websites are going to be placing them. Personally, in terms of my power rankings, I have Bills Eagles, Chargers, Bucks as my top 4, by the way, if you wanted to know. I have Colts 5, and then Browns I have at 27. I think the Browns are amazing. The problem is I think this offense is just so bad. It can't get what it needs to get done in order to bring this team higher. I think this defense is stupid good. Yes, we need a few more takeaways. I think we need like 1 or 2 more takeaways. But I mean, still, this defense is amazing, right? You held what was considered the best offense on paper in the Cincinnati Bengals in week 1 to 17 points. Now, yes, you didn't do great against the Ravens, but you held them to 20 points for 3 quarters. Your offense just couldn't keep up. And then you just held the Super Bowl favorites coming into this week to 10 points. And you won. So, I mean, looking at it, this defense is great regardless of the fact they're not getting a whole lot of turnovers. And so I think 27 is good. That's where I have them. I think 22 is a bit high. I'd say my highest estimate, I'd put them as 24. 24 feels about where they'd be for my highest guess, or my highest pick, I mean. It just doesn't feel like they deserve to be much higher than that, simply because this offense is just awful. I mean, I can't, it's not awful, but it's not good. It's not good at all. I think if we can build this offense some way to where we can actually produce, then we have a contender on our hands. And I think it's not easy though, because I don't think Dylan Gabriels is going to win you a Super Bowl. Even if he comes in and makes his offense top 10, can he produce in the playoffs or even just top 15, right? Because you're bottom like 10, probably bottom 7 really in terms of offensive production. And so, I mean, I don't know, but I think that's about where I'd put the Browns, is around 26 to 24. Just doesn't feel like they can be any higher, simply because I haven't seen anything out of this offense, and this defense just hasn't. This defense has performed so well, but this offense just can't get anything done. And so I just can't put them much higher than about 24 without it feeling a bit iffy about where I'd have them put, and thinking, okay, there are probably teams better than this. But still, I mean, I want to mention a few more things. Quinshon Judkins, I know, kind of change of topic from power rankings to Judkins. Hey, man, Judkins looked really good this game. I think you have someone special here in Judkins. Is he going to be the next Nick Chubb? Probably not, I don't think. It's very hard to be the next Nick Chubb. But can he be a top 15, top 10 running back? Yeah, I think he totally could. I think Judkins could realistically be the 8th best running back in the league. I mean, I wouldn't put him in a spot where I think he's bottom 20. I'd say 8th best. I mean, looking at it, yeah, because Judkins has performed well. He's come into a harsh environment with an offensive line that's been kind of iffy sometimes, and has performed quite well compared to many other running backs in the league. I'm looking at the running back rankings right now to see like the top 10 and just see what they have. Let's see. Can this actually tell me? Okay, this isn't what I wanted. It's fantasy football anyway, so it doesn't matter. But Quinshon Judkins has been quite well. I definitely think he's going to be probably top 12, top 10 by next year. Here we go. Draft Sharks. Is this more fantasy? It's just more fantasy. But, like, I mean, no, it's not actually. Okay, no, it is. But, I mean, they have... Let's look at number 8. Number 8 is Kyren Williams. And then you get Bijan, Saquon, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor. But I think realistically, Quinshon Judkins could be a top 10 running back in the next year or two. I wouldn't put it past him to be even top 7, like 6, 5-ish. Is he going to be number 1? Probably not. I don't think he's ever going to be that good. Now, if he wants to prove me wrong, hey man, I'm not stopping you. But I'm very excited to see his performances. I think he's going to be very good. I think he's going to be a good power back, which is suited to the Browns since they've had Nick Chubb before, is that big power back style of play. And another player, again, Harold Fannin Jr., very proud of what he's been doing. Now, yes, he didn't have a great game against the Packers, but there weren't a whole lot of pass yards for him to receive. So you have to take that into account, right? That, I mean, he didn't have a whole lot of yards to catch, right? If you only throw 150 yards and you throw it to 6 receivers, that's what, 30, 60, 90, 120? That's 100. That's 30 yards for 5 receivers. And basic math I can't do, apparently. And then if you say, let's just you throw 60 yards, right? You're only looking at like 20 yards per receiver. And that's not the receiver's fault, right? That's not their fault. They were probably open multiple times. The quarterback just couldn't get it to them. And so I definitely think Fannin has a lot of potential. I think Judkins has a lot of potential. I think Mason Graham has a lot of potential, right? You saw his first half sack Sunday against the Packers. I think he has a lot of potential. I think this is a great rookie class that we have picked up. And even our like 1 and 2 year veterans who have been playing in the league for a year or two now are really good as well. And so I think and I don't think this offense is bad. I really don't. I think it's a combination of bad coaching, iffy coaching, and bad quarterback play. That's the problem. I don't think it's actually. I don't think the offense itself is bad. I think there's just a lot of combinations of poor decisions, and then poor things coming from Flacco, Stefanski. The whole offensive line sometimes has a few problems here and there. It definitely is a tandem problem. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm feeling. I think this is a great team. The defense is the great defense is the best in the league. The offense has its problems, but I think this is a good team. I really do. I just think the offense is going to be holding this team back from 5 wins this year. I mean, you already saw them they already held you back from 2 wins, right? Okay, I won't blame the offense for the Bengals game. Bengals lost, but they already held you back from a win against the Ravens. I feel like this offense could hold you back from 5 to 6 wins this season. And I think that's going to suck. But if they can figure it out, if the offense can figure it out and fix themselves and become decent, right? Just like 12, right? I said if we were the 12th best offense, we'd be the best team in the league. If they could just be the 12th best offense, heck, even the 16th best offense, I think this is a Super Bowl contender team. Hot take, but truly, if this was the 16th, right, like the middle of the pack in offensive performance, this would be a Super Bowl contender team because of how amazing our defense has been. We don't even need a top 10 offense, right? We just need top 15, top 12, and we have a Super Bowl contender, which is how great our defense has been. But that's really all I have for you. I actually forgot to plug Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. Go check them out. Use our referral code right there. We get 15%. You'll love their coffee. You can drink it every morning. You can write FU Packers on your mug. I don't know if you want to do that. Or maybe the Ravens, right? So, hey, do whatever you want, but it's great coffee. You'll love it. So, thank you all for tuning into the show with me. I'm very happy about this win. Browns won, obviously, 13-10. So, let's come back against the Lions next week, and let's win again, right? Another NFC North team, right? Another NFC North team. Hold on. I'm like dying over here. Another NFC North team. There we go. I sound normal again. Another NFC North team. Come back. Let's win. Let's bring it to the Lions. Let's win another game. 2-2. Bring it to 500. So I love you all, and I will talk to you guys on Saturday. Peace.